Hello, welcome back to Poetry Corner. Today we will travel to the Middle East, where I will share both old and new poetry. Our first poet is Abu Nuwas, who lived from 756 to 814. His reputation in the Arab world was built on his adoration of wine and as the poet of gay love. Born in modern day Iran, he moved to Iraq, the governing seat of the then mighty Abbasid Caliphate. Around 1,500 of his verses survive today, including many of which reflect his experience of cosmopolitan life in Baghdad. Here is a poem he wrote to honor wine. It is entitled Karkia, which was where fine wine was produced in Baghdad. Praise the wine for its munificence, and give it the best of names. Do not allow water to subdue it, nor let it rule the water. A Karkia that had long been aged, until most of it is reduced, such that the drinker coming by it has but the tail end of its life to enjoy. Yet it turns round and revives blameless the spirits of ardent lovers. Oft the wine is drunk by such as are not up to it. Our next poet is Alkansa, who lived from 575 to 645. She is one of the Arab world's most famous female poets. Her verses are full of metaphors about loss, life, love, and departure. Here is one of her masterpieces, a eulogy to her brother Sakir, a tribal chief who was severely wounded and later died after a raid against the rival Bani Asad tribe. Elegy for Sakar. Be generous, my eyes, while shedding copious tears, and weep a stream of tears for Sakar. I could not sleep, and was awake all night. It was as if my eyes were rubbed with grit. I watched the stars, though it was not my task to watch. At times I wrapped myself in my remaining rags. He would protect his comrade in a fight, a match, for those who fight with weapons, tooth or claw, amidst a troop of horses, straining at their bridles eagerly, like lions that arrive in pastures lush. Jumping forward a few centuries, I'd like to tell you about the famous Persian poet and Sufi mystic Rumi. He lived from 1207 to 1273. Here is one poem he wrote about unity. Only breath. Not Christian or Jew or Muslim, not Hindu, Buddhist, Sufi, or Zen. Not any religion or cultural system. I am not from the east or the west, not out of the ocean or up from the ground, not natural or ethereal, not composed of elements at all. I do not exist, am not an entity in this world or in the next, did not descend from Adam and Eve or any origin story. My place is placeless, a trace of the traceless, neither body or soul. I belong to the beloved, have seen the two worlds as one, and that one call to and know. First, last, outer, inner, only that breath, breathing human being. Transitioning to the present, Sadi Youssef was born in 1934 in Iraq and is considered one of the most important contemporary poets in the Arab world. Following his experience as a political prisoner in Iraq, he has spent most of his life in exile. He has worked as a translator, journalist, and publisher. Here is his poem, Conversation. As fall winds wailed in the surrounding hills, he said, "Are we, my friend, two rocks? How often have the winds wailed? How often have we been struck by cold and harm? How often have we lost our bets? Yet we stand here." I said, "Don't grieve, we are the eye of time." Another contemporary Middle Eastern poet is Fadwa Tuqan, who is known for her chronicling of the plight of the Palestinian people. She lived from 1917 to 2003. She had to stop school at 13 and was taught by her brother Ibrahim Tuqan, who was known as the poet of Palestine. Fadwa eventually went on to attend Oxford University, where she studied English. Here are the first two stanzas of her poem, Face Lost in the Wilderness. Do not fill postcards with memories. Between my heart and the luxury of passion stretches a desert where ropes of fire blaze and smolder, where snakes coil and recoil, swallowing blossoms with poison and flame. No, don't ask me to remember. Love's memory is dark, the dream clouded. Love is a lost phantom in a wilderness night. Friend, the night has slain the moon. In the mirror of my heart you can find no shelter, only my country's disfigured face, her face lovely and mutilated, her precious face. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our trip to the Middle East for some poetry.